Let's pick up on the conversation with former workers and community members of the Bogoso-Prestea Mine who are now operating under Heath Goldfields, because the former workers and as well with the community members of the Bogoso-Prestea Mine accuse current operators of Heath Goldfields of failing to address long-standing employment and compensation concerns. Now, the aggrieved group has formally petitioned the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, calling for urgent intervention over what they describe as unresolved obligations following the transition of the mine's ownership. And this morning, I'm joined by Bogoso, a communications team member of Catchment Area Community Alliance. Bogoso, I hope you're well. How long ago did you petition? Is it 2 weeks already?
Yes.
It's 2 weeks already. When did you count the holidays in addition to the 2 weeks?
The minister gave us 14 days.
14 days, 14 working days, or normal 14 days?
He said 14 days. He said, initially he said 2 weeks. And we said, no, 2 weeks long. And he said 14 days.
Okay, but it's still the same?
Yes.
Still anyway, okay. So, since you petitioned, have you received any response? You petitioned to the Lands Ministry and then as well the Presidency.
And
I recall that.
Commission.
Yeah, and the Minerals Commission as well. Have you received any responses from any of these institutions?
I will say good morning and good morning to our viewers and listeners. We are here to receive formal invitation or response.
Okay, from all of these.
But behind the scene,
okay,
we have the hope that maybe, if not this week, maybe next week.
Okay.
We'll get.
Well, what are you feeling? What are your gut feelings? Do you think that you're making progress?
Well, because of the way the Daman issue happened, we can base on the Daman issue, because the same company be there for the Daman issue, and they failed. So the process that they failed is what is happening in Prestea.
Okay.
So the Daman issue should be a clear witness of what Kaka is saying.
Okay. Because
they failed technical and they failed financial. If you look at the report that came, they were the final two, but when they go to the final stage, the technical aspect, they didn't meet the criteria, and the financial aspect too, they didn't meet the criteria.
Okay. But I also see in the news that it looks like Heath Goldfield is actually making some progress with Trafigura. How does this impact or affect your request and your calls?
If you look at the processes that Heath Goldfield used to acquire the lease, they were given some big assurance. And that assurance was the reason why they were giving the lease. And if you go to the justification to what the Minerals Commission considered, Heath Goldfields was initially a company from Turkey.
Yes.
And that Turkish company is Yermaden. And that company, according to Heath Goldfields, their proposal is a giant in the mining industry. They operate in Russia, they operate in Kazakhstan, Albania, and other European countries. So Heath Goldfields should have been their test case in Africa. And their proposal was that the Yermaden Holdings have over $2 billion, and they've invested over $500 million in these countries that I mentioned. So based on that projection, they are coming to invest $500 million in Bogoso-Prestea Mine. That was the reason why the board of the Minerals Commission granted the lease to Heath Goldfields. And if you compare what happened then and what is happening now with the Daman issue, EMP provided the resources, the cash, with traceable information. If you compare Heath Goldfields, 500 million from the mother company in Turkey was not able to come. We could not trace it.
But are you the ones that do the tracing, or the minister that eventually upholds the lease grant? How did we know that we're not able to trace it?
Because of the workers.
Okay.
There are surveillances and other things that if the money had come, the workers could have been paid.
Maybe the money came, but they thought to prioritize it.
It didn't.
It didn't.
If the money came, the underground water would not be still there. Because the money was specified for a specific operation.
Okay.
They said they are going to invest $150 million in the first 18 months.
Yeah.
Which is fourth quarter 2024 and first quarter 2025.
And then the remainder 350
will be spread
over the 5 year period.
Years.
So you think the 150 billion was not, you can't even trace whether the 150 million.
It didn't come because from their own, from Professor S.Y. Kumar report on heat gophers, when the 500 million failed, they came with another proposal in the form of equity. That is the first phase investment of $205 million after the original 500 million for Yemaden failed. So the sources and the amounts that they proposed on the $205 million, they said the shareholder loan is $30 million. This same Trafigura, 65 million. And that 65 million initially should be equity.
I see. So if I understand, this deal that was signed in December 2024 is generally a bad deal on the side of government, or
if you look at the activities, exhibited by heat gophers, you can say that it's a bad deal. Informally,
engaging people on the value chain, do they see what you've been trying to point out? Is it an obvious challenge? Do you think that they see the problem? The minister will talk formally, but do you think that they're able to see the challenge with Heath Goldfield?
They've seen it because even the Nananum of the 3 divisional area that Heath Goldfield is operating have petitioned the president to replace Heath Goldfield.
So how is Heath Goldfield still operating freely and not without any challenge?
That is why we are encouraging the media to take full charge, because you have failed all the criteria, but you are still operating. So when the media take it up, you will see why they are operating. Because we, the community, we are being affected, because when the underground collapses, Prestea collapses. The concession have 2 modules, the surface and the underground. Prestea have both surface and the underground, and Bogoso have only the surface. So even the surface, Prestea, we have stake in it. And currently where they are mining is closer to the Bondi underground shaft. And the same process was used by BGL, Bogoso Gold Limited, from 2003 to 2008. They used the same approach to destroy 2 shafts. They destroy Ankobra shaft, they destroy North shaft.
But what's the MC in the area saying?
You see, they are all...
Because for the contract, of course, it will lie at the very top for discussions and decisions. But the visible destruction of the activities of the current mining company, surely there must be some immediate reactions from people who have the responsibility of ensuring that there's proper mining going on there. What's the MC saying?
As for the MC, he's not a regulator. So when we petition the MC through our first press conference, then we petition the regulators, because with the MC he's a political figure. So he cannot directly involve himself, and also he doesn't have the expertise. So the person who has the expertise, or the institution who has the expertise, is the Minerals Commission and the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry.
And you petition all these people at the same time, so clearly you're expecting responses.
Yes.
What are, in very clear and simple terms, what are your demands?
Our demand is we need a technically competent investor, financially competent investor. So if the company is not able to fulfill what they promise, it's like your place here, you have some challenges, and somebody comes to you that I can help you. I have 500 million to inject into your operation to make it more vibrant, and you accept it. When the person came, is rather using your company to go for collateral. The $65 million is a collateral. And they are using the state asset, of which you and I are stakeholders or shareholders. They are using it as a collateral to get $65 million. And the liabilities of the company is even more than $80 million. So if you promise $500 million, you are not able to meet it. You promise $205 million, you are not able to make it. And you are now using the same facility. If you cannot manage it, why don't you give it back to the owner? That is why we are calling on the minister that we cannot sit and watch Heat Gophers to use the facility, because Heat Gophers was not the only company that bid. There were 4 companies at that time.
Heath and which one?
The companies who came on board were Global Incorporates Ghana Limited.
Okay.
Zonji Ghana Investment Limited.
Okay.
And Heat Gophers also.
Okay. Out of these 4, do you have a most preferred? Have you been able to do a technical financial analysis of the others that you think that are more capable, or you just want government to take over and decide?
The reason why we are calling on government to take over is what FGR, Future Global Resources, came to do. What FGR came to do is the same, it's not similar. It's the same as what Heat Gophers is doing. When they were taken over from Golden Star Bogoso-Prestea Mines, they came through the same door. After 3 years, the company folded up. They left. They poured all the gold that they need. They couldn't pay their taxes to both Ghana Revenue Authority, VRA, and even Minerals Commission itself. So if we sit aloof and allow these things to happen, the same thing is going to happen. And Prestea Mines is going to be used as a cash cow for few people.
Okay, all right. Maybe finally, what about the workers? Any form of challenge with compensations so far since the takeover?
The workers, about 400 people are still at home. They were part of those who came to demonstrate.
What was the initial agreement? Was the agreement that Heat Goldfield would absorb them?
Initially, that was the agreement.
Okay.
And they said they will be called in batches, per what they told us.
Has there been any batch call at all?
After the initial people, we have not heard any.
How many were the initial people out of the 400?
For that one, I cannot give the specific, because they were not called that straight away. So I cannot give the specific number. Okay.
So when are you looking to at least hear some concrete response from the institutions that you have petitioned?
We want the Minerals Commission, the Lands Ministry, to make sure that, because even this Tavgura agreement,
yes,
if you go through from their own website, you will not see any approval from the minister. But when you read the Minerals and Mining Act, Section 14, it specifies that before those agreements could be carried on, there has to be approval from the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. And when we checked, from our check, we did not see anything of that sort.
This is another leg of petitioning your...
Yes, that is why we are re-echoing what we said.
Okay.
And we want the minister to be interested, because if the mine concession, which is lesser than Prestea Bogoso mine, Heat Gophers could not meet the requirement, and they are still operating within this large-scale concession, which has a potential to rebuild even part of our economy. So we are pleading with the minister that this collateralization will not help us.
Okay, we understand. We'll wait till you get a response so far, since you have petitioned as well. But thank you as well for coming by to bring us an update. Bedu Samora is communications team member, Catchment Area Community Alliance. Please stay with us. That's more on the show.